students, you're welcome to today's lesson. Today we'll be looking at another interesting topic, lowlands. In our last lesson, we discussed about mountains, which is a highland region. So at this lesson, we'll be looking at lowlands. Also at this lesson, we'll be looking at various objectives. One, we should be able to define lowland. Where do we refer to as lowlands? Also, we should be able to know the different types of lowlands that we have. We are also going to be discussing the characteristics of each of the different types of lowlands that we have. Also at this lesson, we'll be looking at a plain as an example of a lowland. Now we are going to be discussing the types of plains that we have and the various modes of formation of these different types of plains. Also, we are going to be looking at the importance of lowland to man. Now the question is, what is a lowland? Lowlands are the areas that are below 300 meters above the sea level. They are also referred to as areas where the land is at, near or below the level of the sea, and where there are not usually mountains or large hills. This will take us to the types of lowlands. Basically, there are three major types of lowlands. These are valleys, plains, and coastal areas. Coastal areas are narrow strips of relatively low ground between the sea and the cliff leading to the plateau. There are also flatlands that are low, lying adjacent to a sea coast, are separated from the interior by other features. Coastal areas are subject to fog and they are notable for species diversity. Next, we'll be looking at valleys. A valley is an elongated low area, often running between hills or mountains, which typically contain a river or stream running from one end to the other. Most valleys are formed by erosion of the land surface by rivers or streams over a long period. Some of the characteristics are the form in which they appear. We have the V-shaped valleys and the U-shaped valleys. A valley is also known as a dell. This is in its broad sense, while a small valley surrounded by mountains or ridges is sometimes called a hollow. Next, we'll be looking at the third type of lowland, which is a plain. Plains are extensive areas of flat or nearly flat lands. They are the most widely used among the three types of lowlands. Looking at the mode of formation of these lowlands, mountain buildings were as a result of horizontal earth movement. As a result of this movement, agents of denudation work on rocks and makes it to crack. And after a long time, it gets separated, thereby creating a lowland in between these mountains. Looking at the plain, which is a typical example of the lowland where man dwells or lives. A plain is an extensive area of level land or gentle undulating land, usually a few meters above the sea level. Differences in height between the highest point and the lowest point are less than 100 meters. The slopes are gentle and the soils are deep. This will take us to the types of plains. Basically, we have three major types of plains based on their mode of formation. The first is the structural plains. These plains, they are actually undisturbed horizontal surface of the earth, formed by bedded sedimentary rocks. Next is the erosional plain. These are plains formed by agents of denudation, such as running waters, wind, ice. Plains resulting from the action of denudation are called peneplains, while those formed when wind blows and reduces a high land to a flat or level land is called a peneplain. Glacier and ocean waves, which were irregular rock surfaces and smoothing them into plains, are known as erosional plains. Next, we'll be looking at the depositional plains. The depositional plains are plains formed by the deposition of materials or sediments transported there by the various agents of transportation, such as rivers, winds, waves, and glacier. Depositional plains are grouped into the following categories. We have them as alluvial plains, floodplains, deltaic plains, outwash plains. We have the coastal plains. Looking at the alluvial plains, they are formed from the deposition of sediments eroded from the upper course of a river to the lower course of that river. The deposited materials on the lower course of the river form the alluvial plains. The floodplain, on the other hand, are formed from the deposition of sediments eroded from the upper course of a river and deposited on the lower course, especially when the river overflows its bank. This can also be formed from deposition of sediments carried by running water, such as a flood. The deltaic plains are plains formed from the deposition of sediments brought down by a river onto the mat of that river. The three types of depositional plains that we have discussed, which is the alluvial, the flood, and the deltaic, are very rich and fertile ground for farming activities. We also have the coastal plains. The coastal plains are formed from the deposition of sediments brought by ocean waves on the continental shelf. Coastal plains are also formed by the uplift of parts of the sea floor bordering a continent. Like we said plains are formed based on their mode of formation. The outwash plains are formed from the deposition of materials brought down by glaciers. By glaciers, we mean ice. Next, we'll be looking at the characteristics of plains. One of them is that plains are flat lands. They are flat lands, and they may be formed due to erosion and also deposition or by earth movement. Plains are usually gentle slopes, and the soils are usually very deep and fertile. Next, we'll be looking at the importance of lowlands to man. Lowlands serves as good source of fishing ground, thereby providing job for fish farmers. Plains in river basins provide job also for fishing. Like fish farmers, they have the opportunity to fish in such places. Plains, especially level ones, are good for human habitation. Population and settlements are usually concentrated on plains. Where man live is on a plain, because there he can actually build and actually carry out his economic activities. Plains, especially depositional plains, are rich, fertile soils which favor intensive agriculture. It favors the cultivation of rubber, sugarcane, and rice to a very large extent. Some plains are also rich sources of minerals. Minerals like coal, and petroleum. They are actually found in on plains. Plains which are lowlands contain a lot of petroleum and coal, which are sources of revenue, or which provides revenue to the government. Also, in areas of low rainfall, rearing of animals are carried out in plains as they favor the growth of pastures. With this, the farmer can be able to feed his animals. They also provide medium for transportation and also drinking water. Looking at it, you see that plain plays a vital role in the life of man, because without plain, man will have nowhere to inhabit. Some of the major problems associated with plains are: we have flooding. Areas around the Delta region usually experiences flooding, and this tends to reduce human activities. Also, they act as barrier to communication. With this, we have come to the end of the lesson. Please do well to attempt your quizzes and ask questions if there are any. See you in my next class, and bye for now.